And one of the reasons why I kind of want to keep bringing this stuff up is AI, I feel, in the current way that we promote it and we advertise it, seems like it's just the next investor bait. I don't know that it's genuinely going to be the same kind of rug pull, like almost outright scam that NFTs were. But AI in this current consumer facing model that we're advertising is not a business model. We have no business model. A couple weeks back, we talked about how OpenAI is not only not covering their costs, they're significantly in the hole. They're bringing in like $3 billion in revenue for something like $7 billion in expenses, and that they could be going bankrupt. But we're still trying to promote this idea of the AI in a very limited scope, because it's basically what we're talking about are language learning models, not the science and the advancement and the research to bring other types of AI and machine learning processes to consumers. We're trying to convince people that there's a business model in setting up hundreds of billions of dollars in data centers that's going to suck up incredible amounts of electricity. Google and Microsoft are way off their climate targets. Their carbon output is skyrocketing instead of bringing this in. So we're cooking the planet faster with this increased use of data centers. We're consuming incredible amounts of water. And I got into it with someone on Threads after Google I/O because they tried to greenwash it. Oh, look, we're using this closed loop water cooling in our data centers to make them more efficient. And they're trying to make it sound like the water in a data center just loops. But it doesn't. It loops on the server, and then to cool all of the stuff, all the heat that's coming off every rack, you're just consuming incredible amounts of potable water. And so instead of building more data centers in the United States, we're trying to find other countries that will appreciate the investment in their local economy, and they're willing to bend their environmental rules and their carbon rules and their water rules and shore up their electricity generation, which in a lot of those countries will probably be polluting electricity. There's no subscription model for AI that makes a company money on this. And I've been saying this for a really long time, but I haven't been able to make a really witty, snarky 2 hour long documentary about it, right? I've just been bringing it up in individual videos, in individual gadget reviews. Oh, this thing says it's all about the AI. Well, let me say, I'm not bullish on AI. It's not something that can make money on top of the costs. And then all of these companies get the benefit of wrecking the environment, privatizing the profits, and then not being responsible for cleaning up their mess. It's yet another business model that puts all of the pressure on consumers and governments to fix their issues at enormous costs. As we go through yet another one of the hottest summers on record ever, it was triple digits yesterday, and we're not even into the hot season here in Southern California, but it was 102 degrees peak yesterday at noon. I'm having to turn the AC up to like 83, 84 because it can't run all day every day. It's like really bad for an air conditioner to not turn off occasionally. All of this is to say that the next article that we're taking a look at, when people see AI on products, it makes them less likely to buy those products. This is coming from The Bite, written up by Victor Tangerman. Study finds consumers are actively turned off by products that use AI. Now, this is just a survey. There were 1,000 respondents, but overwhelmingly, AI makes someone significantly less likely to trust that product. I don't want to be right. I want cool Star Trek, like personal aware kinds of technology. I look at something like Microsoft Recall and I really want that. But I want it in a way that's secure and personal and locked down and something that I can control, not something that's kind of open and siphons off all of my information and then profits on my user data without me being a part of that conversation, without me being a part of that discussion. This current flavor of AI is not a real business model. And look at how many stories and articles and videos, like who is it? The Friday Checkout just did a video, I think, about, oh, we're all real concerned about the increasing costs for AI. I don't know. I feel like that's what I was saying a while back. And people keep rushing to tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about, or I must not understand AI, or that's not how AI works. And yet, every single time I bring up one of these issues that I have with language learning models on massive data centers, ripping off content from creators, supplanting interactions with websites, destroying that economic relationship that we have where I put out content and you consume the content and we both get a benefit out of that. But now AI and algorithms and platforms can get in between my audience and me, and I'm just supposed to figure out how to play ball with trillion-dollar corporations doing this. Investors are excited because they see billions of dollars moving around between humongous companies with humongous valuations. Investors are excited because they see Nvidia stock dancing around like crazy and that they know billions of dollars of Nvidia hardware is moving around. But then at the end of this, what's the business? You're telling me if I pay like $5 a month to Google to get Gemini Pro, I don't even remember what it's called, search tools in my browser, that's going to eventually beat the investment costs on data centers? If every single person in the United States, man, woman, and child, paid $5 a month individually, what would that be? Roughly $1.6 billion a month. And Google is pouring billions of dollars a year into these data centers and building more of them. Google would have to spend less than $30 billion a year on all of their massive data center operations if literally every single person in the United States had some kind of Gemini Pro Plus account. The numbers on that don't make any sense at all. How does someone go in there and invest in that and say, yes, eventually the potential is going to be there for literally every single person on the planet to be hammering this style of machine learning to have access to that tool for it to overcome the expenses and generate a profit? And it's actually setting back research and the scientific process significantly because now every single AI company has put up walls. Their AI is proprietary and they're not sharing between all these other companies. There's no exploration, there's no collaboration. Everything's getting locked down because, well, now we've got to start generating profits. Now we've got to start showing that this is a business. I guarantee you what you're going to see over the next year is incredible pressure from all the tech bros to start landing government contracts. And we talked about this last week on the podcast too. You're going to see incredible lobbying efforts to get machine learning tools entrenched in the government, in military, in healthcare, in education, so that taxpayer dollars are being funneled directly into these companies. And that's the only way these rugged, individualistic, tech bro, I don't care about the politics kinds of people are going to keep AI afloat, is if they squeeze taxpayers directly through the government for every dime they can get their hands on. That's the business model. That's the only thing that can keep AI afloat ahead of these other growing concerns on generating revenue through consumer-facing business models. You're not going to build a market like that, charging people a couple bucks a month for awful search results. Apple's Apple Intelligence is already pretty underwhelming as a suite of machine learning tools. It's basically just like the next phase of things that we've already been doing on our Android phones for years now, because machine learning really isn't that exciting. It's cool, and there are some really cool things that are going to happen because of this. And I've said, I'm really excited to see things like better file compression. Because when you unpack a large model, you want to be able to squish it into a smaller space for storage. The ability to work with that kind of stuff is going to be really exciting. And we've seen already some incredible advances in file compression, which will eventually help other services too, like video streaming and game streaming. When you can squeeze down higher quality video and playback, a video game streaming service needs less bandwidth to operate. That's some cool stuff that could come from AI. That is not the business model. I'm real disappointed. Again, The Byte has like a very short, brief write-up on this, but it's well linked, and there are other stories just to kind of read through. But time and time and time again, we keep pitching AI, and people keep telling me I just don't get it, or I don't know what I'm talking about, or something, like I'm biased. I'm not impressed, and I'm not very bullish on data center AI. Local machine learning tools, those are going to be cool. Big data center AI I think it's a rug pull. I think they're going to try and boost up the valuation of a bunch of companies. A few people are going to get incredibly rich, and I think investors are going to get taken for another ride. But I am not qualified to give investment advice. So please don't listen to me. Move around your portfolio a whole bunch and then see like, oh, Nvidia stock just skyrocketed. I'm not the guy for that. But I will say Nvidia stock has been very chaotic lately, and even Warren Buffett pulled half his stake out of Apple. If the billionaires are circling the wagons and getting defensive about tech stocks, I think maybe we should pay attention to that too. Let me drink some coffee.